Hello everyone. This week we're going to do a video on this digital microscope. It's an Andonstar AD407. It's got a couple features that I like in it, is why I bought that. One, you can see that I got a HDMI cable that can go from this display over to that display. And what's nice about that, a lot of these microscopes, they will only let you have a view in this display or that, but not both. But this will be both. Right now it's not turned on. I'll just turn it on in a minute here. I got a little remote control right here. A real quick flash of a welcome screen. And you can see now I got video in both places. But without a good light source, you're going to run into problems. And so these little Nebo flashlights, these things are real handy. We got a bunch of those. You can set the power settings on there as far as the light source. You can adjust the brightness on them. They last a long time. And you can see I got some flicker in here because I just don't have enough light source. So what I got set up over one of the Nebos over here. I got a couple parts set up. I got a 1/2 inch gauge block set up here so we can show the accuracy of the measurement of the part. But I just want to show you what the difference it makes with the light source first. So if I turn that on, I got kind of like a comparator where you got a backlighting. And you can see here's the gauge block, here's the white cloth behind it. One of the features I like, and one of the reasons I bought this, is because I can do some high precision measuring. My digital up here, it will measure in a resolution of 50 millionths. And so I can do some precise measuring. But the other feature I liked about this, I needed some crosshairs in order to be able to do some measuring. So I got a reference point. And you got this nice little remote control that comes with it. And if you hit this plus side over here, you can see that we got crosshairs. Now on the bigger monitor, you can see that it comes out a lot bigger. The lines look bigger. You can probably see them better on that monitor than over here. But when you're up close, I can actually see the resolution. This is 7-inch diagonal screen. One other nice point on it. It had a big screen. But I can actually see the detail a little bit better in here than when I got it hooked to this bigger monitor over here. But this bigger monitor will be good to show as we do this video. Now because I got the microscope mounted this way, when I travel with my arm up and down, you're going to see the movement up this way. On this monitor, you're going to see it in the horizontal position, this in the vertical. If you watch our previous videos, when I mount a ID grinding spindle, I have the same holder right here that I can hold this microscope on. It's got a 3/4 inch hole in there that I can tighten the screw on. So now if I turn, you can see we're blacked out on this side of the block. So if I turn the light source on this side, and then you can see the texture. And I'm going to probably get in the way of the camera a little bit here. It's going to be hard not to. But you can see in this area right here, that's actually the chamfer on that block. This has a 12 megapixel resolution. I got it set real close to the block, so it's at its highest magnification. But this thing has got an amazing focal length. I mean, it goes out to about, from the block all the way out to about there. And so that's one other feature I like about it. But what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to stay out of the way of the camera as much as possible, but what I'm going to do with these crosshairs now, I got this all set up, and that's a 1/2 inch gauge block. I'm going to wind up until I just see where I'm hitting on there, and I'm going to set my digital at 0. And then as I wind down, you're going to actually see that it is a 500 gauge block. So we got 499.7, so we're about 3/10 difference. Let me come back down, try to look at it a little bit closer. Yeah, so I repeated on the 0. And there we got 499, 8.5. So I can measure within a couple 10 thousandths of an inch with this pretty accurately. So this is just a 1/2 inch gauge block that was set up there just to show you how accurate this is in, going along with gauge blocks. So what we're going to do now, you can also do measurements like with this part that I got. This will, if you've been watching our previous videos where we've been working on the Herrick electric grind using ceramic balls and using reverse centers to grind. This is one of the drive mechanisms that I'll use when I have a 1/4 inch shank. And so this hole, I drilled it and reamed it, and I drilled and reamed it at 250, and it's got a nice chamfer on the front, but this is about a minus 250 pin, and it goes in, and it's about 2/10 less than a 1/2 inch. So the hole's got to be bigger than that in order for it to go in. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to wind over, show how you can, and what I have to do is I have to change the focus of the part. And that's nice because I can get a real fine focus here. I also got a focus adjustment right here. But it's so nice just using this snug down, and you can see that I got a fine focal point there. So now I just got to wind until I get close to the hole. And like I said, the hole is chamfered, so you can see the chamfer on it. You can see the bigger detail there. But the first thing I want to do is I want to get this roughly in the center of the hole. So I'm just going to go up somewhere here. Get my focal point on the chamfer real good. And now I'm going to just come over and find center in one direction. And so now I'll set the Y. And this is actually the Z, but it's set in the digits Y. And I got 248 8/10, so I'm gonna divide it by 2. I got to wind over 124 4/10, and that should put me on the center. And what I'm going to do is I reset 0 there. And so now I should be on the center of the hole in the Z direction here. And so that should give me a good method of picking up the hole diameter in the Z. And so this next measurement should be quite accurate. And you can see as we're coming down on the part, it looks like we got equal amounts of land on both sides of the crosshair there. And there we go. Let's see. Right there. So with this now I'm measuring 248 6.5. We'll just double check that again. Yeah, so let me check the 0 down here. And one of the things that I gotta do, okay, yeah, I'm a little bit off on there, it looks like. Yeah, so we're repeating pretty good there. And so now we got 249.7. And like I say, the gauge pin is a few tenths under. So it's pretty close what I measured that diameter with that pin. So So you can make some pretty accurate measurements there. Another thing that you can do after I take this V-block off, is you can use this to measure angles. And what you want to do, this block is squared up pretty good on there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to set that out so that it's nice and squared up. Adjust my light source a little bit more over this direction. And we'll let's see, probably going to have to move back, get the focal. There we go. Starting to see it now. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get that focal point in real nice and sharp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just plot some points on this line. And you can use a calculator to figure your angle. So I'll set the digital in both directions, 0, and I'm going to wind up a 1/2 inch. That's a 45-degree angle, so that your adjacent and opposite angles should be a 1/2 inch. If I'm a 1/2 inch in one and the angle's a true 45, I should be a 1/2 inch in the other as well. That was real fussy on there, so we'll now we'll come over in the Z, and you can see I'm coming up to it. And if that's a true 45, I should measure a 1/2 inch on the digital as well. And as you can see, I'm showing just 4 1/2 tenths off. Yeah, so I'm varying a couple tenths on there, and again, it's yeah, I just repeated right there at a 1/2 inch and 4 1/2 tenths on there. So that angle I know is an accurate 45, and when you use a comparator or a tool such as this, it's probably not going to be as accurate as other methods of measuring, but it's going to be really close. And so one of the other features you can do in something like this as well is and here you can look at the screen. I mean, when you look at the part, it looks nice, but here you're seeing all the scratches and stuff that you have just from using it after grinding, and then you can see all the actual grind marks in there. When you look at it, it looks really good and smooth, but when you get to this point with this high magnification, I mean, you can see all the little details. So what you would do with something like this now, if I wanted to measure, and I don't know if Adam can see it, I'll spin it in a minute, but I got a hole pattern over here. What I can do is I can find the center of the one hole, which I won't do, but I can find the center, set my digital to 0, and then I can wind up and I can pick up the center line of the other hole, and then I can actually use my digital to measure it. So what I'm going to do now, you just turn this sideways, and I done this on the mill. But these holes were just drilled 9/32, 281. And everything shrinks a lot of times on the diameter of the holes, on the inside diameters with A2, and then it grow on the OD. So the holes were measuring, when I was doing this on the mill using the digital, it was measuring about 280.5 on the holes. But when I picked up this hole and this hole, and wanting to measure the distance in between, I know that when I made these, I went 1 inch and 1 inch, and so that should have been 1 inch. I think it was 414.7, something like that, and it was within tenths. And one of the reasons I got this was Pierre from Pierre's Garage. He made a video a while back where he's showing a different unit that he had, that he actually mounted in the mill, and he was using for some accurate measurements of things. And so I thought that was going to be a pretty neat thing. I wanted to try that, and then I wanted to actually mount it up to the surface grinder as well. I got a more fussy digital, and it actually works really nice here on the grinder. So I'm going to pull this out and turn that off, and I'll show you the clamp system that I have. I'm going to unplug the monitor for now. Now this did not come with it. I made this unit, so I can slide it right in here, and we can use it on the surface grinder. I can use a 3/4 inch collet, and I can use my digital on the mill, so I can use it in both places using this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off and show you some other uses with its original stand. And the holes on here are a lot more precision than what you have on the unit they was sent with it. You want to hand me that screwdriver, Adam? Yeah. So what I got to just pry that just a little bit because it's a nice fit. And so what we'll do, if Adam's wanting to reset up over here, we'll show you some more uses. So here you got a stand. You got 2 LED lights. I'll have to plug that in. You got this. It'll pivot up. Let me tighten that down a little bit. It'll pivot up to 90 degrees. So, or actually beyond that, it'd go all the way 180 degrees. It looks like. That you got your adjustment here. A little tension screw in the back. You can adjust it. But I'll show you how nice of a focal length range. You look where I'm up here, going all the way down here. It's over 6 inches. And here's the focus on these inserts. And you can see you got a real nice focus adjustment on there. And so you look at the range that I have on that. So now if I turn this and bring it all the way down at the other end, it's going to increase the magnification. So that's about as high as the magnification will go right now with this. But here's an insert. You can see on the tip. You can see, I mean, what looks like a sharp insert under this magnification is rounded. Here we got an insert that's used. Let me get it in. You can see on the end of it, it's used a little bit. The other end, I think, might even be a little bit more. Yeah. So here you can check the condition of your inserts. You can see them without a problem. Here's one that I found that was interesting. It's a CBN insert, and it's a well-used one. And they have, and you can see it on. Well, it's hard to see, but they got a T-land on this insert right on the edge. If I turned it up, you could probably see it a little bit, but there's a little angle. It's only about 2/1000 wide on there. They call it a T-land. But the thing I thought was interesting, because with one of these inserts, it's got CBN on the one side and then it's carbide on the other, and so we a lot of times would take these shot CBN wheels and then we'd turn around and use the carbide side. And I always thought they had a nice true radius on them. But looking at it under here, you can see that it's not. It comes across and it's a partial radius, and that's the way it is on both sides. The thing with this, you got an adjustable light source as well, and I'm probably down the road going to make a better stand on here that will hold that better. One of the features you have, this one's very tight, but you can adjust this at an angle as well. And so let me try to get this back a little bit so that okay. And what I wanted to do was get that focus on the other side there, because here you can see the shape on the end. It looks like it's ground different here, and I'm looking at this edge as well, and I thought maybe it was the way it's lined up on the thing, but when I flip it 180 degrees I get the same thing. So it looks like I'm looking at it pretty flat. One of the other things that this model came with, it had I believe it's a aluminum base, which is nice, but it wasn't flat. When I put a V-block on there, that's precision ground, it would rock. So I took this up on the mill and I flattened it, and then I painted it flat black over here, just so that you know, it wouldn't reflect the light. And sometimes if you want a different color scheme on there or whatever, I can, if you get darker inserts like this one, if you get darker color inserts like this, and it's kind of hard to see with the background, you can put a white piece of paper on there and you can build your own contrast. And with this remote, as well as you can do a lot of the features up here with this remote, you can change your contrast, you can change your sharpness. There's a lot of things. You can change the light source. You have a 3-time digital magnification. So let me move that insert back a little bit. It's built in. But all that is basically like if you pulled it into a program and you actually crop the picture. So it's a digital magnification of up to 3 times, and so you can see that here. And if I hook the other monitor up to it, it gets a little grainy at that size. But you can see it can do a pretty high degree of magnification there. So I generally don't even use that magnification. Another nice feature about this, I can push this button right here, and it just took a high resolution picture. And not only that, if I had something that was moving around, if I had a little ant farm down there or something, I can also take video It has a 32 gigabyte one of those micro miniature cards. I think they're SD cards. Is that right, Adam? Micro SD. Now that doesn't come with it. You have to buy it. The battery doesn't come with the remote. You got to buy that as well. But this was with shipping and handling from Amazon.com. It was close to $300. I think just slightly less. But it's going to be a nice feature that we can use when you start getting old like me and your eyes start going. I talked to dozens and dozens of people, and my eye doctor says it usually starts when you're about 45, that seeing things up close starts going. That's when you got to start looking at getting into transition lenses, and I hate transition lenses. They got a certain focal point, and you got to get just right for them to work. And in my opinion, they're pretty much worthless. And I haven't had an eye exam in 5 years. Maybe they got better stuff out there on the market now, but the last I knew, that's what they had. So something like this, I can see the detail. I can see it up real close. In our last video, you could see the lint that was being left on the ceramic balls, on them ceramic tooling balls, just from the paper towels. And so it's amazing some of the stuff you can see, but it also works nice as a very precision. I'd trust it within probably about 5/10 thousandths of an inch measuring device. And so if you get some profiles and different shapes that you need to locate certain points or certain features with it, that will actually come out really nice. And one of the things that I used this scope was at my part-time job. We have a job where they have a call out on the radius up to 3 thousandths max on the radius. So it can be dead sharp up to 3 thousandths. And we're having trouble even trying to measure that. I mean, it's even hard for my old man eyes to even see that, even with magnifying glass. So I brought this in, and you can take one of the inserts, which we have over there, that has a 4 thousandths radius, and you can put that right up next to the part, and then you can get a comparison of what a 4 thousandths radius looks like compared to what we're having on the part. And the part looked dead sharp compared to a 4 thousandths radius, and so I'm very confident that we're well within the tolerance. But a lot of small features like that, even with high precision measuring equipment, especially you know, if it's kind of a shadow-based type measuring system, it's really hard to see. So anyways, it's a nice little product, and here's something that I haven't rehearsed yet, so this is the first time. This is the nose piece that we use on our comparator squareness checkers right there, and it's got a real nice finish on it. But let's look and see what it looks under a high magnification. And so you got this nice long barrel focus for adjusting it in real nice. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the finish, it looks really good. You throw it under this high magnification, you can see, I mean, it looks like almost gouges that are in there that you get. And I mean, look at the chamfer on this hole. I'll try to focus in that a little bit more. Oops, I just bumped it. But anyhow, you look how rough that chamfer is compared to the grind. I mean, under magnification, it looks pretty ugly. But yet you look at it with the naked eye, it looks pretty good. And so if we come across over here, this will be on the radius of the part. I'll probably have to adjust it up. And again, this is on the radius part. And you can see right here, we just take with a Scotch-Brite wheel, and what we do, I mean, that looks all nice and polished, and we use a Scotch-Brite wheel and just work that in by hand. But it looks better by eye than the rest of it, but you look under the magnification, it looks rougher than what you have on the actual grind of the nose part. So, and then you can see we got that radius on this side too. But you can see with this magnification just all the small fragments of particles that you have on your part. So anyways, this will be a nice addition to the shop. We'll probably be using it quite a bit for inspecting things, and we're pretty happy to have it. But if you're interested in one of these, again, I'll put the brand name in the description area there and the model, and you can check them out. And they got some that are even a lot better than this, but the price range was about as much as I wanted to go on here. And again, you got a lot of features on here. One of the main features that I really like is when I hook this up to another monitor source with the HDMI cable, this display is still working, as well as the monitor that I got set up. And a lot of them, you hook up the MDI and then you get your monitor and you lose it right here. So a lot of nice features, a lot of, like I say, taking pictures, videos, get the crosshairs. Crosshairs are just this easy to turn off and on. And so just a lot of neat things with this. So if you're interested, look in the description, and then you can do just a Google search, or I'd rather use DuckDuckGo, but you should be able to find one of these online if you're interested. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.